Well, I am so proud of this next story. True investigative journalism, almost like a piece of detective work. Our friend Sheila Gunn Reid, our chief reporter, found some anomalies in an access to information request, and instead of just glossing it over or turning a blind eye, she dug deeper and followed her hunch. And I think we've got a national scale scoop. Joining us now via Skype from her base in northern Alberta is our friend Sheila Gunn Reid. Sheila, congratulations. Great to have you back on the show. Tell our viewers what you discovered that no other journalist in Canada even tried to discover.
Well, we have to go back a little bit. The Liberals are constantly bragging about, what a bunch of feminists they are, and it's really just to cover up for their bad behavior towards women. And, Chrystia Freeland, she's been bragging every chance she gets in the Financial Times, Justin Trudeau's photographer, or one of Justin Trudeau's photographers, constantly posting pictures of her riding a bike and saying that she always rides a bike. So we thought, okay, let's pull her ministerial limo and travel records, which we did because we thought it would be a good story about how this person who constantly rides a bike isn't actually riding a bike at all. And I found some very, very long limo rides, like very long, like in between Edmonton and Calgary distance-wise. Some days 600 kilometers, 700 kilometers in the limo.
That's
so
crazy.
I thought
if you're going the speed limit, that's like 7 hours in a car. That's really weird for Captain, Miss Bicycling Champion. So you saw these anomalies. Yeah. It proved your small thesis, which is these guys are lying about global warming, but you went one step further.
Yeah, so I thought, okay, these distances are really crazy, and they're distances that normally we would see a politician taking a plane to get to, because for them time is very important, but our money isn't. So my thesis was, okay, she's either using the ministerial limo instead of a plane, or even crazier, she's actually taking the plane and having her ministerial transportation come up empty, drive her around, and go back empty. So to write off my crazier assumption, I started going through Minister Freeland's flight records, and instead of writing off my assumption, I proved it right. She has been, especially to places like Montreal, flying up, and we have her flight records. We see her flight expenses, so we know she did it. She's flying up to places like Montreal and having her ministerial limo drive up empty, drive her around, and then drive back empty while she flies both ways and charges the taxpayer for both.
In a way, you gotta admit, that's actually so crazy and awesome. That's like quadruple the carbon footprint of anyone else. That's so insane to have a car go up ahead to pre-position it, just to squire you around town. Like, by the way, I think cabinet ministers should have a driver. I don't want them getting into accidents. I want them working in the car. But use an Uber, like call an Uber for $40 or $50. Having a driver drive 6 hours just to get there, scoot you around town, and then drive back 6 hours while you're in the plane. I don't even think rock stars do that. Like, I think rock stars hire a local car. They don't bring their favorite car and driver 700 kilometers and say, oh, hey, how was your drive? I have never in my life actually heard of this ultra high carbon practice before. Forget about the carbon, the cost of it, the wear and tear, the insanity of it. I've just never heard of this behavior before.
Well, the wear and tear on the car, you got to pay a driver a full day to drive you around, to drive back by himself, to drive up by himself, just the sheer audacity of it all. She really is behaving like a rock star. And all the while, preening in the media, telling the Financial Times, she never drives a car. She doesn't drive a car. Having one of the PMO's photographers post pictures of her riding a bike. She claims to ride a bike in January. Sorry, sister. maybe you've got your bike in the limo. I don't know what's going on there, but she sure doesn't think that it's the climate emergency Catherine McKenna keeps telling us it is.
That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.